What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for a little non-sports talk today. We are going to be a little Marvel card heavy this morning on this week's edition. And a little quick touch on Stranger Things. We got some new announcements across the board and a new release actually coming out potentially this week in the Marvel card world. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys and girls know the drill. First up, Into the Spider-Verse. I know this movie came out like 10, 20, 30 years ago now, it feels like, is finally getting its trading card release, and it sounds like it's coming out this week. These boxes are currently going for about $240, give or take. I was not planning on doing anything with this set. I love the movie, but I typically don't gravitate much towards on-screen cards very often, except for actor autos. But it's a new Marvel release. I figured worst case, I could just do a box break video on it. So I did end up ordering a box from Dave and Adams. Like I said, supposedly it's supposed to come out Wednesday. So we may have a box break video on this product later this week. I know what's going to happen. Everyone's going to start opening it. And I'll be mad that I didn't buy a box. I don't think this is an investment level product or anything crazy like that. I think this is just a good fun rip. I wish it was a little bit cheaper. I feel like $240 is a little heavy price to pay for this set. It's got some interesting things in it. We'll kind of flip through the sell sheet here really quickly. To me, the biggest things besides sketch cards there are actor autos from the voice actors in here. And the two notable ones are Haley Steinfeld, who voiced Spider-Gwen and is also Kate Bishop in the MCU. And then Catherine Hahn is the voice of Dr. Octopus in this. And she is also obviously, plays Agatha in the WandaVision series and is getting her own season or series as well. The Coven of Chaos, I believe it's going to be called. So those intrigue me a little bit. As a Gwen fan, as a Spider-Gwen fan, I would not mind having Haley Steinfeld on card, or probably a sticker auto, an auto of her on a card with that. I wouldn't say no to that. So I may look to pick one of those up. And there's also some cool inserts. We'll flip through the sell sheet really quickly here. But, I'm not anticipating buying this and selling singles for huge prices or anything like that. If you have kids, this would be a really fun rip because a lot of kids really loved Into the Spider-Verse. And I feel like this set's kind of made for them and unfortunately got its price pumped because of the whole Marvel rise. This would be an excellent product, at around 100 to 150 bucks a box, which is probably designed to be sold at about 100 bucks a box. But you have the base set, and then there's parallels of it. It looks like they're doing some things with the whole digitized universes where things kind of crossed over. 5 base cards per pack, 1 proprietary insert, 1 Peter Parker red parallel card per pack. So essentially, like a lot of the other Marvel Metal sets and whatnot that we've seen recently, there'll be a base card and then a parallel version of the base card, probably multiple parallels of it. This Dimensions Collide, this actually looks pretty interesting. I'm curious to see what this is going to look like in hand. I don't know that these pictures look the greatest. They do say that they're not final, but they are lenticulars and color collide parallels. I have a feeling these could look really cool with the little glitch effect. That's what they're calling it. That's what I was referencing earlier, glitch effect. But we'll need to see these in hand to see how nice that they look. Manufactured patch cards, I'm never really a big fan of those. You get 5 stickers per box, 4 My Story rainbow foil cards. Those are probably going to look really nice if you can manage to hit one of the better characters. This is kind of like their version of a grandiose, if you will, to reference Marvel Metal. It'll look more like that rainbow foil effect that you see like on Topps baseball cards. 3 Spider PI parallel inserts and 1 Dimensions Collide lenticular cards. So you get one of these lenticular cards per box. These are the stickers. I could care less about the stickers. Here's your case hits. 2 sketch cards per case. 2 canvas parallel cards. I don't know what those are. And then 1 in the vault numbered Ultimate Gold patch card. Once again, I'm not big on manufactured patches. And then here are the autograph cards. There is also dual autos and triple autos. To me, I think one of the better hits of the box or the product would be the Steinfeld or the Spider-Gwen, and I forget the voice actor's name for Miles. The two of those are on a dual auto together. that would probably be like a pretty big hit in my opinion. But we'll see what those comes out loud. I wouldn't mind a Catherine Hahn auto either. Like, I love Catherine Hahn in WandaVision. She was freaking fantastic, and she was pretty good as Doc Ock in this. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie, but not enough to like go all in crazy on this product. But this should be a fun rip. Like I said, especially if you have kids, this would be a pretty good product to rip with them. Maybe a Christmas present or something like that. So keep your eyes peeled for it. This is one, you know, it's $240 at release. I wouldn't be surprised if box prices came down on this post-release. In general, wax prices are kindly creeping down slowly. We're actually going to talk about that in a second with Spider-Man Metal. Those box prices are starting to tick down a little bit. And I don't know how much hype and buzz this one's going to have behind it. So you could see box prices pull back for that. Will this be the last Marvel release of the year? That's the key question. The two big things that we still have on the docket that we haven't really gotten much movement on is Fleer Ultra Avengers and Marvel Beginnings. Originally, I think everyone thought Marvel Beginnings would be out first and then Avengers, but as time has worn on here, it seems like Fleer Ultra Avengers is later on down the product life cycle. Justin, aka Spidey Hits, did, I think it was a YouTube shorter, he talked about it somewhere. There was a photo floating around of an artist signing his cards, and in that said, these are all done and signed. Hope to get this great product out to you this year. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing there a little bit. So maybe we see Fleer Ultra Avengers to end the year. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love to get, I'm super excited to rip that product. I still have 12 boxes on pre-order. From that price standpoint, that stuff hasn't really moved much. Those boxes are still sitting at $400 on pre-order, and Marvel Beginnings is still sitting at $250. If it was me, we don't really know a ton about Marvel Beginnings right now. It is probably pretty on par with this set, this Into the Spider-Verse set. I personally would rather rip Marvel Beginnings because I'm just more of a fan of like OG Marvel cards versus the screen counterpart sets, if you will. But like I said, I got one box. When it comes in, we'll rip it. We'll put the video up and we'll kind of see what happens there. Mentioned Spider-Man Metal. Box prices are ticking down. I noticed this in some of the Facebook groups where people were posting them for sale for like $525, $550. And eBay sales are ending around that neck of the woods as well. You know, here's a rogue buy it now at $630. But if you wait out an auction, you could probably get it a little cheaper if you're looking for a box. Here's one for $560, $550, $575, $586, $489 from Canada. We'll talk about this in a second. Usually anything from Canada gets a little bit of a discount on it because a lot of people don't search for international listings on eBay. And a lot of people don't want to deal with the increased shipping prices and usually the delay in what it takes to get the product. Here's another one from Canada that went for $506, and then right next to it, one from the US that went for $570. We're going back about a week or two now. But generally speaking, these box prices do seem to be slowly trending down. The hype cycle is kind of dying out here a little bit. You know, it was the thing. It was all over social. Everyone was FOMOing into it, and we've kind of moved past that now. And we're just kind of in the settling phase. At some point in time, these will probably level off. I don't know that they slip much below 500. I could see 500 as a decent floor price unless, I mean, with anything, you know, the outside world could just wreck everything if things get really, really bad, which is 100% in play, could happen. And then maybe that could cause them to dip even lower. But I don't see them like air quotes crashing. Especially as the supply continues to dry up. I'm actually curious how many are actively listed on eBay right now. Is always an interesting thing to look at. 34 boxes are currently, and some of those are actually cases. So 34 loose boxes, and it's probably actually less. Yeah, there's some nonsense in here too. These are still up at Dave and Adams as well. I believe the last price on them, $624. So you can go to David Adams and snag them for $625 off the rip anytime that you want. So that's kind of your ceiling price at the moment. But we'll see where those end up trending. Let's switch gears here. Interesting sale that I just happened to be watching on Sunday afternoon right before I was getting ready to record this video. This is for a 90 Marvel Universe Wolverine CGC 9.5 with subgrades. So you got two 9.5s, a 10, and a 9 on the corners. I didn't look this card over to see, you know, if I agree with the grade or whatever. That wasn't really the point. I was curious to see what this sold for because PSA 10s of this sell all the time. This one for $52. It was a Canadian listing. So, you know, I don't want to put like a caveat on this, but that we need to factor that in to a degree. It went for 52 US, but shipping on this thing was 20 bucks, almost 20 bucks, $18.50. And it's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks to get to you potentially. So with all that said, you know, what do we think about $52 for a CGC 9.5 of a 90 MU? For comparison's sake, a PSA 10 of this card, last sale was October 2nd, went for 136 bucks. I was curious while I was here. I rolled this back 60 days. You can kind of see the trend line on this as 90 MU still continues to trend down, and it is still very heavily graded. I got a note from GemRate over the weekend that said one of the days this week that I think he said 90 MU was the most graded set of the day for PSA. So clearly still a lot of 90 Marvel Universe in the pipeline, but still a very pretty popular set. You know, this is the iconic Marvel set for a lot of people. You know, whether you agree with that or not, a lot of people have nostalgic ties to this set, myself included. Over the last 60 days, down 20%, a $31 drop. But like I said, these are currently going for $136. So this one going for $50, that's a spread of about 70 bucks. Factoring in the international stuff, you know, I don't know where you want to put that at. Well, I don't like using sample sizes of 1, but I was at least just curious to see how this card held up against the PSA 10 equivalent. I think it's probably closer to about a $50 gap, to be quite honest with you. If that was a US auction ending, I think it probably would have went for closer to 70, about what it went for in Canadian. Because the shipping, I think the shipping cost, that $18 shipping cost will scare a lot of people off. And like I said, a lot of people don't even search for non-US listings as well. So it probably had less eyeballs on it. But with PSA at $18 grading now, and CGC at $15 grading, the leverage point that you have there is you're going to get a CGC order back fast. A PSA $18 order, you're probably looking at 60 to 90 days. I think they posted at 120-day turnaround time. So it could be 4 months. My guess is that they're going to beat that expectation. So let's assume 3 months. So you're tying the card up for 3 months. And if the downward trend continues where it's dropping 5-10% every 60 days, if not more, that card's going to continue to slide down. Whereas with CGC, this is the argument that we used to make for SGC all the time. The speed of the turnaround can matter. You know, getting the card back super fast and getting it listed can make a big difference. Who knows what the market will look like come basically January if you're flying ahead 3 months in time. And CGC, at the moment anyways, you know, the last order I sent them, a bulk order at 15 a card, got back to me in about 2 weeks. So, you know, I don't know if they're still holding to those times or not. I'm actually getting ready to send them off another order. So I'll see how that one does. But that turnaround time does matter. You can get that money back in your pocket and then go and do the next thing, especially depending on what your cost basis of the card was. Now for this one, they paid for subgrades on this one. So this actually cost them 30 bucks to grade it. So they really didn't make a ton on this. And on a base card like this, typically my general argument has always been if subgrades are an option, get the subgrades. The problem is on this low end stuff, I actually don't think it's worth it. It's 15 bucks to grade. The problem is that the subgrades are $15 to tack on. You're paying as much for the subgrades as you are for the grading fees. If the subgrades were $5, I would say go for it. You know, then you're in it for 20. You're getting subgrades to go along with it. Maybe that juices it a little bit. But I feel like a card like this is not selling that much differently in a blank 9.5. And what I mean by blank 9.5 is no subgrades versus one with subgrades. I have sold, not 90 MU, but I have sold a decent amount of Marvel stuff now. I've sold through 2 bulk orders of CGC slabs with no subgrades on it on low-end Marvel, and I've had no issues. And I feel like I've gotten fair prices, and I don't know that it would swing that much with subgrades. Now, on higher-end stuff, I would want subgrades. My PMG, I paid for the subgrades on my Gwen. Generally speaking, while I was digging into 90 MU, I also pulled up the full gambit of 90 Marvel Universe PSA 10, just for the heck of it. Went back 60 days on this, just trying to see what the price movements look like. And a lot of stuff is still trending down. You do see a little bit of green as things kind of settle in. I was also interested in what's selling for the highest price points. And a lot of this is pop report driven. You need to pay attention to the pop count on PSA 10s of this stuff because it can swing the prices quite a bit as people are chasing sets. Cosmic Spider-Man and Base Spider-Man are the two top dogs at around 1,300. Cosmic Spider-Man, one of the hardest cards, the PSA 10. It has the worst gem rate, I think, of all the highly graded cards. Only pop 49 in a PSA 10. This card and the red and blue suit still sell for a hefty premium. I've mentioned this before in videos. I've ripped multiple boxes of 90 MU at this point, and it is every one of my Cosmic Spider-Mans was drastically off-centered. It had to be something with a print run on that card specifically. We see Iron Man, Hulk, and Doctor Strange ticking in next. I also think some of this is pop report related. I don't know that Strange is a $400 character, but he's only pop 38. We have the Stan Lee, which is pop 313, going for about 350. That card's basically flattened out over the last 60 days. So that's kind of interesting to see. Thor at 265, and then you kind of move it down into Venom Cap. Black Suit Spider-Man at 200. What's the pop count? Yeah, Black Suit Spider-Man pop count is 270 compared to the two red and blue suits at 97 and 49. And like I said, I know the Tinfoil Hat Brigade will want to go pop control on the Cosmic Spider-Man, but from what I've seen opening fresh boxes, the print on those is really, really bad. And then you kind of settle in pretty much any decent character, you know, Daredevil, Wolverine, Loki, Silver Surfer, Doom, all go for a little over $100. And then non-decent characters go for between 50 and 100 if it's someone kind of random. But that's kind of where 90MU is still sitting at. Still a play at the current grading prices. Box prices are still holding pretty strong. I think last I looked, let me look actually. I don't know where, I think last I looked they were like 700-ish. But let's take a look at market movers really quick. So here's 1990MU sealed wax boxes. This is over the last 90 days. 54 of these bad boys have sold. We see a little bit of a dip here, but we'll talk about this in a second. This is a little bit of an outlier. Generally speaking, this is going for about $750. There's some sales up around 800. It dipped down to 750. And then there's this sale here at 616 at auction that's kind of out of line. And the reason why, and be careful of this, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a sealed box. People list these like this. 1990 Marvel Universe complete box, 36 trading cards, sealed packs. So it's a open box with 36 sealed loose packs. I'm surprised this went for 616. That box is beat to hell. There'd be no way in hell I would buy this for 616. No way in hell. And also, you know, why? There's just like a million questions here. Why is this unwrapped with 36 packs in it and you're selling it and not opening it? You know what I mean? Like, why was this box open and then the pack's not ripped? Makes me think this is a Frankenstein box. I will tell you right now, and I'm not saying this is what the seller did. I have no idea. I'm just saying 90MU, you can pack search the holograms. 100%. You could find the holograms in a box. Don't buy loose packs. Now, most people are buying this for the base cards, but one, this box is just beat to hell. I would rather just spend the extra $125 and get an actual sealed box in good shape. Like, no thanks on this one. Hard pass. Last thing to finish up here, we got a little announcement from Zerocool, everybody's favorite card company. They have a Stranger Things set coming out. It's going to release later this week, it sounds like. Being referred to as a Butcher Billy Artist series. I am not familiar with that person. Friend of the channel, Dustin here, Sports Card Dad, asks on the IG post, do we know the checklist or print run data? Because that's one of the good things about Zerocool. Listen, I know people didn't like the Gary V thing, but Zerocool tells you the print runs of the cards. So they answer Dustin here. There'll be 11,111 boxes. So little play there with 11 being the main character. 4 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. The cards will be featured major characters from season 4. More details to follow. Stay locked on our social. So these will be up on on the Netflix website, which is basically the Stranger Things website, later this week. No idea on pricing or when these are going to come out or what. I don't know if they'll immediately be available to ship once we get them. I will probably try to get a couple of these. We'll see what pricing looks like on them. Some to rip, maybe a couple to stash. We'll see. It just kind of depends on what they look like. But keep your eyes peeled for that if you are into the Stranger Things. I'm sure friend of the channel, the Sports Card Dad, aka Dustin, will probably be doing a bunch of content around this as he is really big into Stranger Things. So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. Marvel card heavy this week. Like, comment, subscribe. Coming up this week on the non-sports card side of things, I have a 1994 Fleer box opening. It is done and recorded. I'm going to say air quotes box opening. Things went sideways on that one. We'll talk about it in the video. I'm planning on putting that up this week, and then there'll be an Into the Spider-Verse. If those boxes come out, I will just rip that and put the video up immediately upon getting it in my hands. So we'll get that up as quick as possible as well. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys and girls. Catch you on the next one. Peace.